Today, we're going to talk about the brain, but maybe not in the way you'd expect. We're going to explore this really fascinating and honestly crucial link between the physical brain, the organ itself, and your spiritual practice. It turns out the clarity you're looking for, it might have more to do with your brain cells than your willpower. So let's get right into it. If you've ever tried to meditate, I'm sure this sounds familiar. You sit down, you're ready for that deep inner peace, and instead, bam, you're hit with this overwhelming need to sleep, or the room starts spinning, or you just feel so agitated you can't sit still. It's super frustrating, right? It feels like you're failing. But what if you're not? What if I told you the answer isn't some deep philosophical failing on your part, but it's actually physiological? The source material we're looking at today makes a powerful argument that these feelings are signals from your body, and it all starts right here inside your head. Okay, so let's dive into the brain's secret fuel. I want you to think of your brain as this high-performance engine. It's the engine that powers your awareness, your consciousness, everything. And just like any engine, it needs fuel to run. Not just any fuel, but the right kind, in the right amounts. And what are those essential fuels? It's actually pretty simple. Oxygen and glucose. That's it. Oxygen powers all the cellular functions, and glucose provides the raw energy. When your brain cells get a nice, steady, balanced supply of both, you feel clear, you feel refreshed, your mind is sharp. But the moment that balance gets thrown off, well, that's when things start to go sideways. Now, before we get into what goes wrong, it's really important to understand how our brain actually talks to our body. See, our emotions aren't just these abstract things floating around in our heads. They trigger a very real chemical reaction, a cascade of hormones that affects literally everything. And just look at the difference here. It's night and day. When you feel good, your brain releases endorphins. Your muscles relax, your blood vessels open up, and circulation improves. Awesome, right? But when you're stressed or upset, the brain pumps out stress hormones. Your body gets stiff, your blood vessels constrict, and circulation gets impaired. It's a direct physical consequence of your mental state. So keeping that mind-body connection in mind, let's look at diagnosis number 1. What happens when that brain fuel supply line gets cut? We'll start with an oxygen deficit. You can see the imbalance really clearly here on this chart. The glucose level, the energy, is fine. It's at 100%. But the oxygen is way down at just 30%. Your brain is basically suffocating. This is a super common problem for practitioners. So what does your brain do? It sends a signal you absolutely cannot ignore: drowsiness. This isn't laziness, you guys. This is a safety switch. Your brain is trying to force you to go to sleep because when you're asleep, your body is still and your breathing deepens, which naturally increases oxygen intake. If you try to fight it, your consciousness just gets sluggish and foggy. And if you really fight it, you can even start to hallucinate as your brain cells begin to get damaged. Which brings us to this really direct, really important piece of advice from the text. Your body is telling you exactly what it needs. If you feel that wave of drowsiness during your practice, don't see it as an enemy to defeat. It's a signal. Listen to it. All right, so that's case 1. Now let's flip the script. What happens if you have plenty of oxygen but you're running low on glucose? This is diagnosis number 2. And you can see it right here. Oxygen is great, 100%, but glucose, the brain's main energy source, is in the red. This is your classic low blood sugar situation. The first thing you'll probably feel is dizziness. Then your body might start to tremble or shake. That's not random. That's your brain sending frantic signals to your muscles and organs, basically screaming at them to produce more glucose. And if that doesn't work, well, the brain initiates a shutdown mode to conserve whatever energy is left. And the brain is dead serious about this shutdown. It has 2 options. A physical shutdown, which is terrifying. Your body is totally immobilized, but you're still conscious. You can see and hear everything, but can't move. Or it can go for a total shutdown, where you just faint completely, lose consciousness, and have no memory of it afterwards. Which brings us to our third and most complex diagnosis, the dual deficit. This is what happens when the brain is starved of both oxygen and glucose at the same time. And as you can imagine, the body's response is a lot more aggressive. This chart shows that dangerous state pretty clearly. Both fuel lines are critically low. Your brain is in full-on emergency mode, and it sends out a 5-alarm fire signal to your heart. The heart's response? It starts pumping like crazy, trying to force more blood and therefore more fuel up to the brain. This causes a massive spike in the pressure inside your skull. You might feel it as a weird swelling sensation, which can turn into a nasty headache that actually pulses with your heartbeat. This is a very dangerous situation because it can literally rupture tiny blood vessels in your brain. And what's worse is that this kicks off a vicious cycle. The brain screams for fuel, the heart pumps harder, the pressure rises. That high pressure messes with your hormones, which makes your body get stiff, which raises your blood pressure even more, and the cycle just feeds on itself, getting worse and worse. Now, if this high-pressure state becomes chronic, even if it's just a low-level thing, your body starts sending out some subtle warning signs. Things like your scalp feeling hot all the time, maybe even hair loss, a face that's often red and flushed, eyes that are frequently bloodshot, or something really specific, like sweating a lot just from eating a meal. These are all clues that your body is constantly fighting this internal pressure. So, after all these pretty intense diagnoses, what's the prescription? What do we do? Well, it all comes down to one core message. True cultivation, true spiritual progress has to start with the body. And here's a simple cheat sheet to help you out. For those first two conditions, the fix is actually pretty simple. If you're drowsy, you need oxygen, so get some sleep or do some conscious breathing exercises. If you're dizzy, you need glucose, so eat a piece of candy or something sweet. Easy. But, and this is a really important but, that third issue, the one with the pressure, it's not so simple. The source material is clear that this is a much deeper problem. It's not just about what you're eating or how you're breathing. It's deeply tied to psychological factors, to chronic stress and tension. And that brings us to the ultimate takeaway. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? You can have all the deep thoughts and philosophical debates you want, but they won't lead to liberation. Real progress requires action through the body. Your physical self isn't an obstacle to overcome. It's the very foundation of your practice. So the next time you sit down to practice, I want to challenge you. Don't just focus on stilling your mind. Listen to your body. Is it drowsy? Is it trembling? Do you feel pressure? The real question is, what is your body trying to tell you? And are you ready to finally listen?